As the Russian Navy's OREL submarine slowly descends into the cold, dark depths of the Northern Sea, an unsettling silence falls over the horizon. What we are witnessing is not simply a mechanical maneuver. It is a symbolic act of strategic intent. OREL, designated K-266, is one of Russia's most powerful underwater platforms, a legacy from the Cold War, reborn into modern conflict scenarios. The OREL belongs to Project 949A Antey, a Soviet-era design conceptualized to destroy NATO carrier strike groups in high-tension environments. Known in NATO classification as the Oscar II class, these submarines are not stealthy by Western standards, but they are large, rugged, and armed to deliver massive damage across maritime and land-based targets. At over 154 meters in length and displacing nearly 19,400 tons submerged, OREL is built for extended range patrols, multi-strike capability, and prolonged undersea operations. Its nuclear reactor grants it unlimited endurance beneath the surface, constrained only by logistics and crew limitations. Its weapon systems are formidable. Initially designed around the P-700 Granit, SSN-19, shipwreck missiles, supersonic cruise missiles with conventional or nuclear warheads. Modernized variants like OREL are now reported to be Kalibr compatible. This expands the strike range to over 2,000 kilometers, allowing the vessel to hit land-based targets deep inland. One of the most pressing questions is whether OREL is diving with nuclear-armed missiles on board. The answer is most likely yes. According to Russian military doctrine, all Antey-class submarines are dual-capable platforms. This means they can carry both conventional and nuclear payloads, giving commanders flexible options, depending on strategic context. Given recent geopolitical developments, intensifying NATO surveillance near the Barents and Norwegian seas, American activity in the Arctic, and joint Baltic naval exercises, it is not coincidental that OREL has entered the theater. Its dive is likely a calibrated signal. Russia intends to hold strategic sea corridors under continuous threat. Could this dive be part of a larger naval operation? Intelligence indicators suggest yes. Satellite imagery and open-source data indicate multiple Russian surface vessels have been repositioned. The pattern aligns with anti-access area denial, A2AD posturing, where submarines like OREL play a central role in covering large maritime denial zones with missile strike capability. This raises another shocking question. Could OREL strike NATO territory without surfacing? Absolutely. Kalibr cruise missiles launched from a submerged platform could target critical infrastructure in Europe with minimal warning. This transforms OREL from a strategic naval asset into a geopolitical chess piece. In the event of rising conflict, Russia could use OREL as a first-strike intimidation tool. The psychological value of a nuclear-capable submarine operating silently in contested waters cannot be overstated. It forces adversaries to divert resources toward anti-submarine warfare, even without confirmed contact. What's more disturbing is how difficult it is to track OREL once submerged. Despite its size, the vessel employs anechoic tiles, propeller hush systems, and electronic countermeasures to reduce its sonar footprint. If OREL navigates under thermoclines or Arctic ice, NATO will struggle to maintain tracking. This stealth factor brings us to the possibility that OREL has gone dark in the North Atlantic. Western navies rely on acoustic signatures, passive sonar buoys, and SOSUS-like systems, but a well-trained Russian crew can disappear for weeks. Once communication is ceased, OREL becomes untraceable until it surfaces or strikes. How would NATO respond to a submerged threat of this scale? Likely with a surge in P-8 Poseidon maritime patrol aircraft sorties, increased sonar sweeps, and underwater drone deployment. But these are reactive measures. If OREL is already in attack position, the cost of interception may be too high. In terms of direct submarine competition, OREL represents brute strength versus Western precision. The U.S. Navy's Virginia-class excels in stealth and multi-domain integration. However, OREL's firepower is unmatched in sheer volume. A full salvo of Granit or Kalibr missiles can saturate Aegis defenses and potentially overwhelm even a carrier group's layered protection. But OREL is not just about missiles. The submarine is also used as a surveillance platform, collecting hydroacoustic data, monitoring Western naval frequencies, and potentially deploying underwater drones. It's part of Russia's broader effort to regain dominance in the global undersea domain. If deployed to the Pacific theater, OREL could challenge U.S. interests near Guam, Japan, or the Philippine Sea. Its range and submerged endurance make it ideal for long-haul shadow operations, including potential disruption of undersea communications cables. An often overlooked vulnerability. In the Baltic Sea, while maneuverability may be constrained due to shallow depth, OREL's mere presence would provoke an immediate NATO response. Even a short-term mission could force the alliance to reposition air and naval assets, diverting attention and creating strategic delays. Is OREL just training? Unlikely. When a nuclear submarine goes active, it's not simply a drill. Every deployment is logged, monitored, and executed with precise geopolitical intention. This dive may be labeled a patrol, but its deeper meaning lies in message sending. What message is Russia sending? That its second strike capability remains intact, that it maintains freedom of navigation undersea, and that any surface fleet operating near Russian interests does so under persistent threat. Upgrades to OREL suggest this isn't just Cold War hardware floating today. Analysts believe modern sonar suites, digital fire control systems, improved crew quarters, and reinforced hull sections have been added. This enhances its survivability, mission scope, and tactical flexibility. Crew training on OREL is rigorous. Life aboard is difficult, isolating, and unrelenting. These sailors are expected to operate high-pressure reactors, manage deadly munitions, and maintain silence for weeks. Their loyalty and competence form the backbone of this vessel's effectiveness. Another theory worth exploring: strategic ambiguity. By not confirming OREL's mission, Russia maintains unpredictability. NATO must plan for multiple scenarios: Baltic incursion, Arctic presence, transatlantic strike potential, each demanding different defense postures. Could OREL launch a surprise Kalibr strike from beneath the sea? Yes, that's what makes these submarines so potent. While surface launchers can be observed and pre-targeted, submarines can pop up, launch, and vanish, all within minutes. What if the real mission is underwater cable disruption? These lines carry 95% of the world's internet traffic. Interfering with or tapping into them offers immense intelligence and disruption capability, especially during hybrid conflict scenarios. From a strategic planner's view, every dive by OREL forces a recalibration. Even if no missile is launched, its presence alone drives military spending, ship reallocation, and public concern. That's the essence of deterrence through mobility. In Moscow, OREL's dive has likely been described as routine, but in classified war rooms, it's anything but. Satellite coverage, undersea detection reports, and SIGINT traffic all spike when OREL goes quiet, because no one truly knows where it is. And therein lies its greatest weapon: not firepower, but uncertainty. OREL operates in a domain where one wrong move can escalate into global conflict. Yet, it performs its duties in silence, with clinical precision. Western powers are watching closely. NATO submarines may already be shadowing OREL, trying to maintain acoustic contact. But if they lose her trail, the strategic equation changes. One hidden submarine can dictate movements of entire fleets. This is not just about one submarine. OREL represents Russia's continued commitment to blue water capabilities, asserting that its reach is not limited to its coastline. It signals that undersea parity with NATO is still alive. In today's era of drone warfare and satellite surveillance, it is ironic that the most dangerous weapons remain hidden underwater. Decades old but newly relevant. OREL dives not into the sea but into the blind spot of modern defense systems. So we return to the question, what happens next? Maybe nothing, maybe anything. Because with submarines like OREL, the true threat lies not in what we see, but in what we can't.